Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, welcome to the weekly Noyantis User Group meeting. Today is a Monday, the 20th of August, 2018. Myself and John are here. As always, any ideas and questions and problems or queries, feel free to raise your hand and we will discuss the particular topic at hand. Just a couple of quick things. I'm actually on a different machine today because my main development machine decided to go up in smoke this morning, so to speak. So I've got a repair job on that for tomorrow. But so I might not have everything to hand on this machine, but we shall do our best, of course. And last week's webinar, I've not posted the video up yet, but we were showing the connectivity with QuickBooks and how to set your account up. We ran into problems, so we actually used we got it going in the end and so on and so forth, but I made a right mockery, if you will, of setting it up. The actual setting up of a QuickBooks test account should take you literally minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes on the outside. The problems I had last week was when I set the one of the valid URLs that you're allowed to use for the local host, and it was all to do with a trailing backslash. I checked it next morning and I could have kicked myself for it. It was very simple. So that's all that was. So that's that. Okay, now we've got I already got a question from Kevin, so let's cover that. Just before we do that, there's no updates to report this week. Obviously, last week there was a big update of the Chillcat wrapper, which covered some more of the QuickBooks integration. Actually, I think that was released after the webinar. But yeah, there is a new QuickBooks update out for anybody who if you're using an older version. I definitely recommend going to the newer version. It covers some optimizations which we mentioned last week in the webinar for the Google Calendar sync, and there's also instructions on how to create your service account in the actual update as well. There's a subfolder called instructions, and it will show you how to create a Google service account. So that's there. And obviously there was big updates to do with the QuickBooks integration, and also the introduction of the socket class and binary data class. So as each update comes along, more and more of the actual base classes are being included as well. So more changes on that, and the example app, of course, was updated accordingly. Okay, so to Kevin. Where's Kevin just gone? Kevin should be here. There we go. Hi, Kevin. I can see you sent me a couple of emails. I'm a little behind on them today with the adventures of my main dev PC. It's thrown me a little, I'll be honest. So, but if you want to, query.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's a little echoey, to be fair, but yes.
Well, okay. Oh gosh, I'm on the wrong screen. I lost your screen. Oh, so on the calendar, one of the things that we talked about months ago was when you're in the today, you're on today's date, the current time indicator, the little orange line that shows up, like it's 7 o'clock. We have different time zones for our users, so we were either trying to remove the indicator or be able to adjust it manually based on the time zone of our users. And where that comes into play is we have a server in our central time zone, and all of our users around the country log in, use remote desktop, but they might be in Atlanta or California, so it's not their current time.
Okay, I've got you. Okay.
You had tried to diddle with it a bit, and it wasn't coming to you, and you were going to research it and talk to.
Well, I know. Now I've got the viewer on this machine. Let's have a quick look. Let's take a look at their calendar. No, none of those.
So a total of 3 questions today, but that's the first one.
No, that's no problem. Let's cover it. Now, calendar, we're only up to 18.3, but that's on this machine, but that's fine. That's fine. I think, from memory, there is something to do with the calendar on time zone. In fact, let's just jump into it. No, that's timeline. Okay, we'll go via the calendar itself, and let's take a look. Now, a lot of these particular things, I'm not sure this can be done, but a lot of them can be controlled via the paint manager. So I'm going to take a look at that to start with. So under the public properties, I would expect to see print preview. Might be under the theme. No. Okay, paint manager, and I'm looking for the calendar. Okay. Always the case. Let's go this way. Because I know the example does include basically where you can an example procedure where you can really change all different aspects, make it quite garish actually. But let's take a look at that. But apart from that, you can actually.
Programmers would never make anything that looks garish, would we? I work with a lot of design people. I'm like, oh, come on. I'm just trying to show you that it works. Don't worry about the color yet.
So yeah, I've had that in the past, and yeah, especially some of the data was going out to the web, and you put one particular interface in front of them, and you've got the web designer in front of you hating it, and you have to see past that, but they don't, unfortunately. Okay, 18.3, that's good. We'll look at these settings. Basically, the thing I'm going to look for is see if we can have a look at how we manipulate it and possibly even turn it off. But I'm sure at the back of my mind that you can actually turn on a second, like a second time timeline, if you will. I'm sure in their CodeJock examples, I've seen it purposely for dual time zones.
Okay.
But it's quite a while. I mean, the calendar is the very first control I looked at with them, and it must be 12 years ago that I originally started wrapping the calendar. So it was quite a while ago. Right, was it different themes? No, I think that's just the standard one. Display attributes. Some of these can be, they use a very strange way of doing it, but basically you can control various different aspects. So the time scale, we can change its font. Let's just choose something out of the ordinary, if you will. Let's apply that. So now that's manipulating just that one aspect, not the caption across the top, obviously not the actual individual items, just one element of the calendar. So we are getting quite detailed of what we want to play about with. But it's this line here we're talking about, isn't it? So, okie dokie, that's none of those. Let's have a look at how we manipulate it via that. Yeah, that's that.
Somebody's got their radio on.
Oh, actually, it's me. Just 1 second. 1 second. Alexa, stop. Sorry about that.
Do you have kids at home or in the office?
I always have the radio on in the office. Yes, couldn't work without it, to be honest. I'll just move that. Oh, this is terrible working on one screen. This is awful. Okay, that's what I'm after. Just interesting, though. I mean, we'll carry on looking at this, but Bill has just made a recommendation. He was just saying, I don't know if this will help you. Since each user has their own desktop, then he should be able to set the time for each user. Just a suggestion. So, whether that would help rather than you having all of them working off just one.
That might help. I don't know if my client is willing to get hundreds and hundreds of, but I guess they're in groups. They have them by group security and stuff.
So,
we should build.
Yeah, just an idea though. It's something else to put into the pot, so to speak. Okay.
Because I already had to adjust some of my code to take into account their time zones when they were inserting records and schedules and appointments. Of course, it was 2 or 3 hours off every time they did it.
Okay, so we have we've got set timescales. So let's have a look in our class now. Open it up, and this will get us to the raw properties of what we're after, really. There's a couple of updates coming to the calendar class, which everyone might like actually, and those updates are. I don't know if anyone sends any ICS files. So basically, you've got an appointment and you want to go, okay, let's email that across to somebody so they can add it to their calendar automatically. Well, the calendar, the changes have already gone into the base class. Just got to integrate it into the calendar class. But basically, you'll be able to highlight an event and say, right, get me the ICS for that. And then it'll just create you the ICS file. You'll pass it the file, the path and the file name, if you will. It'll create you the ICS, and then you can just send it as an attachment. So that'll be one little update coming your way. Okay, so under the day view timescale. So this is the thing we're after here. So it is under one of the views, not the theme. So let's go back to here. We're after our calendar. It'll be under the day view. And what time things have we got? The timescale, that's just a numeric. Min and max. Nope. Nothing in there. Calendar day view. The timescale sets the time interval for both the default and the alternative scales. That's right. I knew there was an alternative. So you can say what the calendar time zone is.
Retrieve the current time zone parameters for alternative time scale.
Should we have a play putting one on? It's going to be something different. I vaguely remember looking at this, but like I say, it was a long time ago, and at the time there wasn't the actual driving requirement for it. So I think we'll go back to a more simpler window for our timescale, shall we? Let's take a look at how we go about adding an alternative. Calendar day view. Won't be a second, I'm just taking a look if we can see. Okay. Just looking at how to get to the actual route time zone. Tell you what, let's cheat. Let's see if any of their examples have got them in.
I'm in the symbol reference CHM file, and I can't find time scale in mine. What file are you in that you're getting all this information?
It's in the
Well, you have the Pro Suite. I don't have the Suite.
yeah, in the suites. Let's have a quick look. It's in the bin folder, and it should be called.
I was in the help.
Oh, actually, no. I think it's up one actually, and it's something like symbol reference.
I have that, and I can't find it in mine. What were you looking up just right now?
Well, I was actually looking under the calendar time zone. So if we have a quick look, calendar time zone object, time zones collection.
Calendar time. Okay, there it is. I was doing a search, not index.
What I'd like to know is how we get to the actual calendar control options, enum all time zones. Let's have a look under the options first. Presuming you're open to the idea of showing 2 time zones, something like that, or just mainly maybe changing the default one.
I prefer to change the default so they only see one, but.
Well, let's see if we can get some information off that one first. Let's see. We'll put a couple of gets on our screen to see if we can get those properties. So let's add a button. So back to theirs. Just want to see time zones object, and I want to see if I can get to its raw object, if you will. Not that you'll necessarily have to do this, but this will be the way into it, if you will. Calendar time zones. Actually, I don't remember seeing that. Calendar control. No. Okay. We need a way in from this. Calendar options. Yeah, calendar options. Oh, you can actually turn the thing off there though.
Oh,
just one quick one.
One time.
Let's just comment that and put you so we can just at least see one thing instantly, which would help you. Oh, running out of screen space here for all these extra things. Okay. LV timeline. Obviously, I think it's on by default. Put this here. And what we'll do is calendar pro dot set property. I think its property was with that. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to set that property to that, true or false. That's just quickly that. We'll still look at the dual time zone because it's intriguing, but this should at least give you something you could use instantaneously. So our time is here. Okay. I would have hoped that would have turned it off.
Go on, switch of view, maybe it just has to refresh. Nope,
yeah. Did want to repopulate. Okay.
Okay. If you refresh or repopulate?
Probably just a redraw actually, but let's just take a quick look.
I'm just taking notes so I can do it myself.
Yeah, that's no problem.
So that was day view, current time mark visible?
Yeah, day view, current time mark visible.
Is that all case sensitive? I've never.
No, it wouldn't be.
Okay.
I'll just do a redraw. That should do it. Okay, so into here. There's our 4.
Bummer.
No, it's not the redraw then. Let's just make sure it did actually take that change. No, there was nothing changed there. Oh, do you know what? I think the clue is, mind you, that's not quite true. If I was in day view, I'm not getting it at all now. We're not getting it on that time at all now in that day view.
Get out and get back in?
Yeah, no, just did do. Just in case some of the options can be set at a global level.
Well, when you do something, you do it grand.
There's nothing in the class what would do that. That's fine. Just want to make sure the latest ones are registered. Can people confirm, because I haven't got the stuff on this machine, people, can you confirm on yours that you get the timeline? Oh, when it shows it on the current day. Sorry, miles away. There. So yes, so on the current day. Turn that off. Go back. That's not affecting it. Before, it's not set. After, set to 0. It's almost as though it's not actually taking a great deal of notice of that, to be honest with you. The property is definitely being set. Oh, it's under the options. Sorry, that's never going to work what we've just done. I forgot the particular level we're at. Sorry, 1 second. It's under options dot.
Okay, that's why my code didn't work.
Okay. Okay, so there is our time. Before it's on, now it's off. Yep, there you go.
So time options dot?
It's options dot. So basically, just to quickly recap what I've just done there before we digress, is I went into the calendar control. So that's like the root level, if you will. We went down, you've got various different methods, properties and events we're going to all trigger. We go down here and we come across a collection called options. So that will take you to the calendar options, if you will, collection. So I'll go down to that. Oh, let's go back up to it. There's our calendar options. And these are the various different methods, properties, so on and so forth. And that's where we found it. So because we went to it via the options, it's options dot. Okay. So back to our code, and we'll take the other stuff out to see if it's a redraw is required.
What program are you using to look at those 6 properties? Those 6 views?
This is application called ITripleE. It was freeware, available on the web. The last time I did a search for it, it was a few download links, and they were absolutely riddled with viruses. So I will send you a link direct to it, and I'll put it on my server. So because I've got the one which, it's the original one. It's a very old program, as you can probably tell by the look and feel, but it's brilliant. You can get to this same thing via the help. Don't think you have to do that. So if you look at it, the same approach, if you will, can be. We want to go under the calendar. Let's bring some of these back. We're going to have a look at the objects, if you will. So under here, not so much that, I suppose it'd be properties. We've got an options property. I call it a collection because it's like a branch to a tree, if you will. So we can see that the options would take you to the calendar options, and in here we can go to the calendar options, look at the members of that. Oh, that actually quickly shows you the tree. So you've got your calendar options, you've got your various different things which are available to you, and one of the options we're going to go is, and we can look at that. That will help in a minute with the get current time zone. But they're the methods that we're going to look at, and the properties, if you will. So, okay, so that's good. So we can see day view current time zone visible. So in our code, we're going to do the options. Remember, dot that's property, and whether it's true or false. I'll comment off the redraw just to see if it's needed. Let's take a quick look at it. In today, to today, scroll down, there it is, and we turn it off. Slight delay. Don't know if I would put a redraw on there, just be on the safe side. Not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if the redraw was. It wouldn't do any harm, so you could put the redraw in there.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's my last alternative, is just turn it off. It'd be nice to be able to set the
Yeah.
content.
So, but let's have a quick look. So we did see some other things here. So, day view label, view scale to label. Oh, I'll tell you what that is. I think, I won't swear to it, on the calendar, you can actually have a time zone on the right as well. We can put that on if you like and just take a quick look. Okay, it was called, what do we call it? I think we had it on here too, yeah. Scale 2, that will do, as good as any. So there's our time zone one. Let's have this over here. Part of the options, so we'll have that. We'll just grab the name of it. That's it. Visible.
Day view scale to.
And I'm going to use just that little byte, which does the checkbox on the screen. Okay. So turning that on.
No.
Okay. That's our second one. I think we can give it a label as well, because that must be our first one. We can see that's being controlled. Okay. We can give it a label, as we just saw a minute ago, so let's do that as well. Not that one, sorry. So there's the visible.
Labels, right?
Label. I'm going to do the label and the scale 2 label, actually. I'm going to do both of those. So I'm going to call that one local, if you will. No, just while we're doing this, let's just call this second. And the normal one, will actually put us first, just so we can see which one's which. Okay, so there's our first, there's our second. So of course you could have that as, I suppose we could have it as UTC and local, something like that. Or you might have central time also, but basically, you could have your 2 time zones. So that's one. Let's play about with that. Okay, so let's play about with what other settings have we got under the options. So we're onto a bit of a roll here. So we've got the label, we've got the visible, we've set our main one. Auto resize busy flag now.
Get current time zones. There must be a set time zone.
Yeah.
It's still 2 time.
What will that will return you the current time zone. That'll be an object. So what I mean by that is, let's just run ours. Okay, so no, not cell, sorry. Calendar Pro, get property. Now this will bring me just the actual raw object back. And then we'll put this, that will do for now. We'll put that back in a second. So that's our message. And back to our options. And get current time zone. We know we're going to get to something like that. Scale 2 time zone.
Let's scale.
Well, that's scale 2, so it's still our second cell. What I'm expecting off this is 2 objects come out, but only after we've created the second, and you'll see what I mean by that here. Both of them bring back a time zone collection. Okay, now I press this the first time, I'd expect the first one to give me an object and the second to say something like an error. Oh, okay. We haven't actually got a second time zone, so it must create it automatically itself. But we've got 2 different objects here. That's perfect. Just what I'd expect the first. The second was debatable. That's great. Okay, so now what we can do is both of those return you the same type of entity back, but of course they're on different paths, if you will. They are 2 separate objects. But as per the documentation, it says when you do the get current time zone, it will return you the calendar time zone back. So we will go to here now and let's have a look at what we get from this. No.
HI lower.
It's a calendar time zone, didn't it? Let me go back one. Calendar time zone. Oh, so it's after. I want to learn how to spell. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so these are the different properties. So the bias will probably be +1 because we are British summertime at the moment here, so it'll be UTC, or Greenwich Mean Time as we call it, but yeah, it's basically UTC +1. So let's just prove that. Let's have a look at the bias. Okay, so we are time zones. Keep that just for have a look at that, and we will say first bias. So it's get current time zone dot bias. So now what we've done, imagine you're going down this tree, we've done options, which led us to the calendar options. We've looked at those options, and one of them was get current time zone, which returns you another object, another collection, if you will, called a current time zone, calendar time zone. And in here, these are the properties and so on. So now we're going down another level. So it's a bias. So we can say, okay, that's the bias of that one, and the second one, bias. And on there, we want not the object, we want the bias of it. Okay, turn on zone 2, press our time zones. There's our 2 objects, perfect. They are bias. Okay, then I'm going to play about. I'm going to change my time zone. Can I do that on here? Might be being controlled. Okay, we're on Cairo, UTC +2. Let's have a look at how does that take effect, has it? Okay. So, it's working it from UTC. Okay, so if we're on Cairo +2, then UTC is -2 hours. So, showing basically that, if you will. I'm going to put myself back. Oh, no, actually, not that. I'm going to put myself on mine, of course. Okay, so that's reading the properties. What we'd like to do is manipulate the second one, correct?
The bias? Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, we really kind of want to, in my case, it's the first one I want to manipulate.
Yeah, well, obviously, on this, we'll be able to do the first or the second. So, we've got a get. Have we got a set for that? Set scale 2. No, you can't set the first one. All you'll be able to do is set the second one.
Okay.
So, oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, God, you got to give it a structure.
Yeah, it's going to want a structure. Now, okay. Now, it just so happens that with these latest changes,
Oh.
thought I'd put them to the comment actually. We're going to the calendar then. Yeah, okay. So there's a time zone info structure. Is that what it wants? Never tried this. It'll either work or it won't it?
Why is time so hard to manipulate?
Oh dear.
I mean, date, you add 1, you subtract 1. You add 30, you subtract 3.
The scale 2 time zone. Now here we want it to be a group. Scale 2 times that doesn't really matter. But I want to base it up on that structure. Haven't a clue this is going to work, but let's give it a go anyway. Set scale 2. So what I'm thinking is something along the lines of just thought then. That's not a local variable. That should be LG, local group. Dot and then we're going to try set property options dot we're still under here set. It's not set property now. Now we're going to issue a command. So we want our OCX direct command. Going to issue that. I'm not sure if it'll want that or the address of that, but we can try. We might just have a quick look at their help and see if we can see anything in there.
We want the address.
Calendar time information structure. Wondering whether it wants actually theirs, like an object being passed in if you want the truth.
Oh.
The time. Okay, don't think this is going to work, but I'll try it just for the sake of a compile, but I don't think that's going to work.
Maybe you have to do a get time zone, and then you get back.
Manipulate. Apart from anything, I've not even closed it off. That should be closed, like so. Yeah, that, yeah. If it were calling an API, that is the structure you'd want for what we've just done. But I very much doubt we can try this. I'm just not sure it will be what we're after. No. No. Okay. when we do the get.
I think it's the time scale property and the bias.
In the what, sorry?
Well, it says alternate timescale is visible. Default timescale will appear. The default timescale always contains the time zone parameters for the local time of the computer. So use the time scale property, and there must be a bias.
No, the scale is literally, do you want it in 5-minute increments, 10-minute increments, 15, that type of thing. Yeah, no, that's the scale, which of course you can control for both 1 and 2.
Calendar time zone object.
That time zone. Bias. What do we do on ours? Nope.
Our dog likes to bark at the garbage man.
I wonder, is that just under the get function? Get that. I'm just wondering whether that's going to actually let us just quickly change that, if you will. So we'll get there. Okay, so I'm just comment that. So what I'm thinking is something along the lines of
It says the get scale to time zone returns the calendar time zone object. It contains the current time zone parameters for alternate time scale. And in that, there's a bias.
okay. Nope. Calendar Pro, we're going to get the object like we did before. In fact, we've just done it where we turned on. We know we can get the object because we've got it there. So what I'm thinking is something along the lines of change the property, but not that. Dot set property. What to be that object? Dot bias. Oh, do you know what? We'll just do positive 120. Just want to see that time change. So basically, we've got that time. That will get you the second time zone object, and then we're just going to manipulate and set that property of it. And we might have to do one other command afterwards. We'll just see. Turn that on. Set scale 2. No, not. Okay. That's fine. We've manipulated, so basically put that. I was thinking of that one. Okay, set property. It wants to be get property. So the bias before. Now we'll leave that. After, and then Calendar Pro OCX direct command. So we're going to send a command directly to the back end, and it was options.set, was it not? Pass to it the prepared object, which we've just been playing about with. Okay, so the idea is, if this works, we are going to get the raw object,
Right.
and I will actually just message that out. Make sure we've got it, and the same with that. So we're going to get the time zone object at scale 2, message it out to show that we've got the object, and we'll see what the bias is before. We'll manipulate one of the properties of that object, the dot bias. We'll message to see if we've changed it, and then we'll call the set scale 2 time zone, and we pass it back the time zone object which we've manipulated.
Easy peasy.
Well, let's see if it works. Let's turn that on so we can see it. We've got the object, none. Got the object, we've changed it. We then set it, and it's changed.
Where do we see?
We set it as a positive 120, so to get back to UTC,
Oh, I see.
you would have to
7,
add
9,
2 hours.
7, 9, 10. I was looking for the yellow line. Sorry. Okay.
So now,
Well, in our case, you're saying that the first time zone you can't manipulate?
no,
always
it's controlled via the OS.
It's okay, so that's going to be your server's time zone. So in our case, central time zone. So we would put a second time zone. Okay, this is your local time zone.
Yes.
Okay. She'll probably hate it, but I can try it. I can say, well, you can either turn it off or. Okay, that's all right.
Okay, so let's we'll do one of these. Let's tidy that up so we can actually see it a little more. So local and France, let's say.
Can you ask them for the name of the label 2 time zone?
Oh, we can. Yeah, we can get. In fact, yes. Why not?
You'd have to do it after you set the bias, though.
No. Calendar should be able to do. Get Calendar Pro. Get property. Options dot get
Current time zone.
Get current time zone, was it?
Yeah.
Dot no. Time zone bias. Is there a name there? Display string. Gets the time zone display string value. So you got daylight name. Point to a null terminator string associated with daylight saving time on the operating system. So like mine can be British summertime, that type of thing. Well, I very much doubt it would be, but okay, so we could set it to that, and I'm going to set one to France. Let's just quickly see that as what we get from that. Okay, so we are on UTC +0. You know what? I think that's 001. I just don't think we're getting actually to see it. So I'm just going to just open with the full wording there actually. So I'm just going to, for demonstration purposes, put this back to local, if you will. And then, don't need that, we don't need that. And if we are minus 60, then that wants to be minus 120. Okay.
So, but France and local, you hard coded those names, right?
I did, yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, actually, do you know what? Because I'm working on local. That's not quite true. Because I'm working, I set it to -120 by UTC. But of course, compared to local, if I want it to compare to local, your local's already -60, so it only wants to be another -60. God, it gets confusing all this, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, let's show it. That is more realistic. So 11 o'clock in the UK during British summertime is 12 o'clock in France.
Okay. Okay. So I'll play. I made a lot of notes. Hopefully, I didn't typo too much. Okay. No, that's good. Okay. So.
So that was only the first question.
Well, mine was just. Oh, I think I was having trouble. I'm gonna just open up the calendar real quick here. Dang, it's gonna be so small.
Just while you're looking at your question, Bill's asking, is there a set current time zone option? And it wouldn't be the set and current because it takes it off the OS. So it's whatever the current one is your local machine. But you have got as we just demonstrated, you've got the scale 2 where you could have a second time zone.
Okay, and I think I sent you something on the font, but I figured that out while we were talking, so that's not a big issue. So I guess just wondering where we stand on the whole report control clash of. I'm sorry I've missed the last couple of times, so I just want to recap if possible.
Okay, now I'm just trying to think of. I definitely won't have the example on this machine, but is it in my? Let's have a look if it's in the example. Oh no, won't be an example, Dev. Let me just open something up and we'll see if it's on this machine. Some things get synchronized to this machine and some things don't. So. Just take this to 18.3 because the machine hasn't got 18.4 on it. Okay. Is it on this example? Oh no. No. And it will be on the other machine.
Well, that's okay. I think it's kind of bringing where we are, so we're able to.
Well, you have got some progress there. So let's quickly show you what there is. Let me just get it so I can actually see all the files. NYS report control. Now this was to do with the clashing, was it not? Now you've got under the blocks, you've got a block queue, of course, and you've got a new queue which is defined for you called block clash. And what it contains, obviously, you can see the ID of the block, internally the object, what row is it on, and the position and length of it. It's really, really awkward because they're all on my, like I say, the other dev machine. And that'll be back up hopefully tomorrow / the day after. Now, basically, what that does is that queue is constantly maintained for you. So if you was, and the example we knocked about in the past was, if you was to add block 1 to row 1 and you added it 1 to 10, then there's nothing in the block clash queue, of course. You add another one, 20 to 30, that's fine, nothing in the clash queue. You then add one, 15 to 25, that would go on to the control. If you had set in the template settings, you've got some properties to say what you want to occur when a clash is detected. And I'll show you these settings now. And basically, if you say, okay, add it, but tell me about it, then it'll go into the queue and it'll tell you straight away that you've got a clash. Now, if you were to drag that clash out of the way, then the queue is kept up to date real time. So if you were to move 15 to 25 down to 12 to 22, it will still be in the clash queue, but its position and length would be 12 for 10 instead of 15 for 10, that type of thing. If you were then to bring it down to 12 to 20, so there's no longer a clash, so you've got 1 to 10, 12 to 20, 20 to 30, there's no longer a clash, then it would take itself out of that queue. So basically, the queue is always maintained for you.
Okay.
You've got, let's just show on the track, see, any of them will do, the track. Hang on, I don't want track control browse enhancer. That's the better one. Just want to show you so it's nice and simple. So under the track view, you've got the clash strategy. Allow, do not allow. The actual template does have extra settings in here, and you can see where we were going with it, and it's as per what we was discussing. So if I jump back up to here, clash, yeah, there we go. So at the moment we've only got 2. The class allows for more. Well, in the process of allowing for more, we've got an allow and do not allow. But what we're having is an allow add child row, so it will automatically add you the child row. So you would have a row 1, 1 to 10, 20 to 30. If you were then to add the 15 to 25, it would automatically add you a child row of row 1, displaying the 15 to 25. So visually, you could see the clash underneath. Okay. So there was a couple of options, was it? It was add child row, allow, display a warning, and do not allow. So basically, yeah, the warning one's very simple. It's just going to prompt you for some warning text and still do it, but just display the warning text as it's being added. The reason for the warning text is basically for multilingual. So I don't want to hard code any warnings and display messages into the actual template. It should be prompted for multilingual. So that's that. It's just the add row, and that's the bit where we're up to. But that will literally just be working off that queue. So the queue is always maintained for you, as any adds are done, deletes are done, visually dragging around of the blocks is done, so on and so forth. It's always kept in sync. So that would help you straight away, and that's available now. Whatever the latest version is, it's something like 4.06, is it? 4.0, must be 4.04 because I've got 4.05 in development here.
Yeah, I didn't see anything after 4.04.
Yeah, but that is in 4.04. If we have a quick look at that history.
That 4.04 came out in July 31, which is only 15 days ago. Okay, so yeah, it's been a while since I looked back at this.
Let's have a quick look at 4.04. It's legacy compatibility added. Oh, there it was. It was 4.03 when it was added. Track view block clash.
I skipped 403 for some reason. Like I said, it's out of touch.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, that's where we're up to on that. And the 405, when it comes out, will have your the adding of the child row.
Okay.
But even in the meantime, if you wanted to detect, then all you've really got to do is, after any addings are being done via your code, then just query the clash queue straight away. And if you didn't want to allow, then well, actually you could just say do not allow. But if you wanted to control it yourself, you could do allow. Detect straight away after an ad if you've got a record in the clash queue, and if you have, display a message and delete the block you've just added because you know it's not allowed.
Okay. Well, to start, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
And I'm done.
Okay, cool. Okay, very good. Now Marty's asking, where are we? As long as we're on the calendar, there was an issue when refresh loading, the calendar dates are getting resolved. This was, I just opened the microphone up, but I think I remember this. Marty. Hi, Marty. Microphone's open. If you're still around. No? Okay, well, I'll leave the microphone just in case. But what I think this was, the most efficient way, we've covered in the past about loading data into the calendar regarding whether to call insert event or insert event from group and so on. And the insert event from group is the better option, of course. But the extra thing which we had a question mark about was the best way of loading the data. Let's say you're going to cycle through any number of records, GPS or SQL or whatever you want them to be, but you cycle through your valid records, and then you add the each event in turn. So your best way of doing it would be in the file load records embed point. You do delete all events at the start of the embed. You will then cycle. You prime up the group and call insert event from group. But one of the parameters you have on there is refresh, and you want to pass false to it to say don't go painting each event in turn. And then after that, after it's done its loop, then you issue a populate and a redraw. And what that will do is then redraw all the events. Now I still believe that to be true, but we did have a particular scenario where, if memory serves, we was calling the insert event from group with a false, but the event was actually still appearing when we didn't expect it to. So that is still being investigated, because I'm not convinced in the overall loop adding that they are being displayed one at a time. I still think efficiency-wise they're not being, but it needs proving. So that's still being investigated. Is the answer on that, Marty? But if I'm right in thinking, I think that was the actual query. Oh, actually, Marty's just typed in. His mic's not working, but yes, correct. That was the issue. So have we got the calendar? We still got the calendar open? Oh, we can do. We'll do a quick test now because we've got a few minutes left, and I don't think there's another question. So under the simple, what we were just working on a minute ago. So our code should look something like what I've just recommended. So our file load records. Now we've got a delete, got the population. You can see here at the insert event from group, false. What I'm going to do is, just in case the file load records is wrapped in a whole load of other code behind the scenes, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put it under a button of our own. So it's not passing through the file load records plus all the other things that go hand in hand with it. Okay, so I'm just going to, let's create another dummy button. load. Actually, it's reload, thinking about it. We wouldn't call this, by the way. If you ever want to do something like this, you would call something like calendar.refresh contents. But we're just going to do a test. So basically, under here, we're going to do the equivalent. And I want to see that work first. Then we're going to take them two off. So just to see what happens. Oh, yeah. There's no start. So I'm just going to load today. I'm going to make it quite efficient. So start at today and only load for today. Now I'll tell you what. Today -7 and today +7. I'm not sure what data we've got. Okay, so definitely got some data. Brilliant. So if I go reload, gone and reappear. Brilliant. Kind of what we expect, what we hope for. What I want to do now is take that populate, call that, and I'm just going to comment that. And I want everything to disappear, which hopefully is correct. So reload, everything's gone. So all we've technically done there is just delete all events. Now I'm going to bring everything back but the actual populate. So now we are still loading, we are still inserting, but we've put a false on there. So I don't want them to appear. They've been loaded into the calendar internal queue, if you will, but not visually. Reload. And they still appeared. Which is... See, what's throwing me there is, if it was doing it one by one, you would see literally 1, 2, 3, 4. You would see it go through. We'll put a message in so you can physically see it. Okay, so now reload. We've added 1, 2, and they are coming through. OCF change. Marcy just reminded us that this is what we found last time, which is, well, correct. But I thought in the meantime I'd seen it. It wasn't, which is the confusing part. So I'm wondering whether it's not under there and it's a change what's gone on under here. No, that's just the rate. Oh no, I thought that was a bit light. We'll do one particular change. What I don't want to do is actually break the live version, if you will, because this will still sync back to my main dev machine afterwards. No, they're still appearing. So the simple answer at the moment, Marty, is no. It's going to take more digging. Yeah, it's going to take more digging to see what is triggering it. What it shouldn't be doing is this, you've got to add it to the data provider. Imagine the data provider, if you will, as like an internal queue, memory table, that type of thing, just for use by the calendar itself. So yes. Okay, so it's unfortunately it's still on the to-do list. Okay, time's pressing on. We are nearly on time. Any other queries or questions before we finish up and wrap up? Oh, and before I forget, next week there is no Usergroup meeting, and that's because it's a public holiday here in the UK. It's the last one of the prior to Christmas. It's the last one of the year. So yes, basically there is no Usergroup meeting next Monday. So sorry about that. Any other questions, queries, ideas? No. Okay, well, we're going to be finishing. Oh, thanks for trying, Marty just said, and oh, Bill's just asking. Let me just open Bill. Bill's just asking about the link for the search tool. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Andy. How are you today?
Yes, fine, thank you.
I was just asking you to put me on the list to send me that link for the help search tool that you had showed earlier.
This one, ITripleE. Yep, I will do. Like I say, there's is it this one or the Agent Mansack? Because I also used a little search utility earlier as well.
Oh, I think the one you got showing there is the one I was talking about, because it kind of drilled it down.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, you do have to follow the idea yourself. So like you come in at that level, the calendar control, and then you basically this is the highest of the tree, if you will, the highest level. So we wanted to go on to something like the active view, so we could say, okay, so the active view will return you back a calendar view. So then we go searching down here for.
No, it's pretty neat how that works.
So it's for all OCXs. No, the other one I didn't actually mention, but I used earlier, and it was something along the lines of there's their samples, and I have a thing called Agent Ransack. I don't know if any of you guys have ever come across it, but it works. It's just a utility off the web. But if you're ever looking for something in a particular folder, I could say, okay, show me within certain files, so maybe VB star, and it goes off and searches all. They have just searched a folder, including the subfolders, for all the files that contain the time zone word. So it's not. That's a pretty good search utility as well from an operating system, from a file explorer type point of view. And then you can open them from here and do your standard file explorer type stuff with them. So I use.
Oh yeah, I've been using that. Everything, search everything.
Is that Andy?
Yeah, same thing. Oh.
Andy, I could listen to you all day long.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
I love your accent.
It's obviously it's English, it's UK, and it's a bit of a mixture between.
She's already left my office.
Oh, it's a mixture between Manchester and it's northern. It's northern English.
Ah, okay.
So, okay. Yes, I will do that, Bill. I think if it's on my server, which it should be, I can send it out after this. And if it's not, and it's on my dev machine, then I need to get power back to the dev machine first. But I think it's off on my server, so don't worry about it.
No rush. I just was putting in a request while I was thinking of it.
No problem. Okay. Well, we are time's upon us, so that's it. We shall we'll call this one a wrap, and I shall see you in 2 weeks' time. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.